this video is probably not going to give me any friends, and this video is just going to be mostly me reading this thing and my reaction to it. And this is a second take, first time I accidentally had my mic off. So this is pretty hilarious. Petitioning to Ubisoft, cancel Far Cry 5. Enough is enough, Ubisoft. We have sat through your multicultural lectures and your preachy games aimed at degenerates and miscreators. We have tolerated it in the name of gameplay design and innovation. But no more! Far Cry 5 is an insult to your fan base, the Americans who make up the majority of your customers. And it's time you woke up to that fact. Change it, this, or cancel it. I will make very clear, I'm not going to attack just America in general, because this clearly is not just America. America has a ton of smart people in it. Of course, also a ton of dumb people, but, well, that's the same thing with the entire world. Everywhere there are smart and dumb people, but... oh boy, this is hilarious. Yeah, how dare you attack Americans? Us gamers had to endure a lot of crap over the last few years. The targeted harassment by the mainstream press through Gamergate. The terrible launch and outright lies of highly anticipated video games. The outright censorship of art through localization policies. Remember that one. The continued rejection of romantic partners when they find out our hobby. Oh good god, I forgot about this part. Just that line. The continued rejection of romantic partners when they find out our hobby. How? Okay, what, do you really want to be romantically involved in a partner when they won't even start? When they immediately are not interested once they notice that you have a hobby? And yeah, how dare you, Ubisoft? Because this is obviously their fault. Oh boy. The appropriation of our culture by so-called gamers on Twitter. No more! It's time to draw a line in the sand. We, the American gamers, because you can speak for all of them, that make up the majority of your user base, demand that you cancel this game or alter it to be less offensive to your main player base. In these times, you must understand that there might be some violent repercussion if you intend to follow through with your pointless criticism. What? Are you seriously saying that people are going to attack Ubisoft if they make this game? Really? Just... you made a game in which you can attack Americans. How dare you? I'm going to kill you for that. And your pointless criticism. Okay. Criticism is practically never truly pointless. I mean, the most pointless thing I can probably come up with is I hate how that mountain looks. That's probably as pointless criticism as I can think of. But even that seemingly stupidly pointless point of criticism is not pointless at every moment. I mean, if you're going to buy a house and you have a view on a mountain, and I have no idea how I came to that, because as a Dutch person I practically never see a bloody mountain, and definitely not when buying a house. But when you're going to see it 50% of the time when you're home, then saying that I really absolutely hate how that mountain looks. It's actually a fair point of criticism. I don't believe in pointless criticism. Criticism on people is never pointless, if sometimes useless, because many people don't want to listen to it, but okay. So here are the following suggestions to make your game right. Because there's a right way to make a game. And this is not following it. You know, it's not opinion based or how different people view it. No, there's a right way to make a game. Change the villains. It's not so hard, really. Just change the villains to something more realistic. Islam is on the rise in America, as is the violent inner city gangs. Yes, change the villains to something more realistic, like the Islam. How dare you attack Christian Americans? But, you know, Islam? Oh no, you can mow them down with no problem. I don't see a problem with that. And anyway, that certainly doesn't give off the wrong idea. Are you scared to do so? In the words of Voltaire, to learn who rules you, simply find out who's not being criticized. Okay, 1. This means that you think there are some people who can't be criticized. Everybody can be criticized. And everybody should be criticized because that's the only way you'll learn. And also, find out who's not being criticized. You must be really numb to the world if you think that America is not being criticized. Because, yes you are. A lot. Just all the time. I mean, for one, you made Trump your president. You're not going to be done with criticism in 4 years. And even after that, people will laugh at you for that. And also, have you paid attention to how most of the world views your idea on gun safety and stuff like that? How you hand them out? Yeah, some people are not a fan of that. Some people think that that is absolute bollocks, but yeah, sure. And, well, I can literally go on and on for hours. I mean, well, the US still have states in which the death penalty is put to use. And there are states in which it's not put to use. And both sides have people attacking it. America is being criticized all the time. Just, what do you think? Do you really think you're not being criticized? That this is the first... Oh, good God. This person cracks me up. Alter the villains. Even if you insist on making the villains American Christians, consider mixing the races a bit. Do not target white people exclusively. This is probably the best point he has. Because just attacking white people, well, it might be kind of dumb. On one condition, it needs to fit. I don't remember where this game was supposedly set. And I definitely don't know what the race mix is there. And if there are black people over there, or if all the black people are your companions and all the white people are evil, yeah, okay, then you might have a point. That is racist. I mean, the other way around is just as much racist, but yeah, have it a bit more diverse? Yeah, that might actually make sense. There are plenty of nationalists in every tribe and every race and creed. To throw in some blacks and Mexicans, there's no reason a protectionist national movement would be all one race. Stop being politically correct here. Really, you talk about politically correct. Just change the villains to be something more realistic. Islam is on the rise in America. I don't think you can play that card anymore. But you know what? This might be the best point you have. Alter the plot. It's obvious that you'll continue to insist on using these characters. Have they replied to the previous 2 paragraphs already? However, with a few artistic tweaks, you can save the concept entirely. Have the villains simply be misguided patriots forced into making their own nation versus the will of an oppressive over-government, construed of all the people they turn their wrath against in their immediate surroundings. Their brutal physical and sexual violence towards their oppressors will then be explained as reaction to harsh government policies and taxation to show that both sides are wrong. No, you don't then show that both sides are wrong. Then you say that the government is wrong and that these people were just forced to do this. That's not showing both sides are wrong. That's saying that these guys are just doing what they are forced to do, making them not wrong. And also, their brutal physical and sexual violence. Okay. Physical violence, yeah, okay, sometimes might call to that. I mean, it's always a bad thing, but sometimes things call for it. Sexual violence is never okay. And just saying that... yeah, attacking American Christians, that's all wrong. Attacking the American government, oh, you can do that, fine. What a consistency. Oh, this one is brilliant. Change the setting, but only for certain markets. May I remind you, the outright censorship of art through localization policies. Change the setting, but only for certain markets. You really... Oh god, how did he not read this through a couple times at least? Look, I get that anti-Americanism plays in France. Minor heads up, it plays, as far as I know, everywhere in the world. At least West Europe has a wee bit of a problem with many things America does. Just... okay. Just... pretty numb to the world, but... well, we've already determined that. And I'm not telling you to give up on potential profits due to complaints. Really? You're not telling them to give up on potential profits, except in this part, right? Wouldn't want to be thought as one of those hypocrite feminists, right? Really? You talk about hypocrites? Hmm? I want to say things, but really... I want to ridicule this, but it's becoming pretty hard. He's doing a better job of it than I ever could. But for America, right now, anti-Americanism is out. May I ask when it was in? I mean, as far as I can remember, America is the one country that still does nationalism. I mean, every country I know of otherwise just loves to rail against its own government, against just the nation as a whole, because, well, just that's kind of how it works. I mean, I'll be honest, most of that is Europe, but how dare you even think about saying that there's something wrong with some people in America. You can't say that. You can't say that extremist religious people in America are wrong. No, wait, actually, no, you can do that, can't you? But they just have to be extremists for the Islam. But if they're extremists for Christianity, oh no, then they're off. Then you can't touch them. You gotta play your market. Change the setting to Canada for me. Wow. It really is just, no, you can't touch America. I mean, you can gun down the rest of the world, no problem. Just, yeah, you can't shoot an American, but oh, sure, gun down the Canadians, no problem with that. Just, This way you don't turn away potential player due to offensiveness. Just try to help you make more money. No help. Follow one. I think that's supposed to be follow one or more, not one of more of these, and this game will be saved from PC hell and multicultural development. Yes, because this is just for America, so Americans will like it. We Americans have so few games to call our own. Compare the amount of games with an American hero compared to the amount of games with just another nationality as a hero. I mean, the entire modern military shooter genre is just aimed at Americans. And a lot of other games are too. Tell me, what was the last really Dutch-focused game? Just focused for the Netherlands or Norway? Or Italy, Greece, Switzerland. Any of those have a game to really call their own? But no, you have so few compared to all those countries that maybe have a couple, and those hundreds that don't have a single game for them. And we are tired of losing them to multicultural bullshit. Yes, how dare you include other cultures? I mean, it's not like they want to make more money by also making other countries wanting to play it. Really, why does a country need its own games? It's, I want to say so many things, but I have so little amount of things to say about this because it speaks for its own how stupid and ridiculous it is. And I know that I won't be making any friends with this. Because, well, I'll insult the people who like this, and I mean, this video is pointless. I mean, people who, I don't have clear points for many of these things. This is just my second viewing or something like that. And pointing out the things that I can see that are wrong with these in that little amount of time. And I could make a video where I really point out a lot of flaws in it, really research, but what's the point of that? The people who would listen to that, well, they already understand that this is utter bollocks. And the people who do understand, well, they understand it, so they go, nobody needs to tell this to them. How? Just I'm coming back to my regular question of how can you be this daft? Just read it for yourself sometime. It's hilarious. Oh, good God. I have nothing else to say. Except, this has been Vinix, saying farewell.